I want you to think about the words of Lincoln, who said that no nation can stand half slave and half free. I want you to think about the eloquent founding documents that talk about freedom, men and women being created equal. Those ideals cannot really stand alongside a nation that enslaves its people.
Embedded in the fabric of what it means to be an American citizen are the rights and justices guaranteed by its founding documents. The celebration and exercise of these privileges feels intrinsic, often second nature to most Americans. But throughout nearly 250 years of our democracy's evolution, the struggle for African Americans to be equally represented by our founding documents is long, turbulent, and continues today. It is a struggle that can be seen in its entirety at the National Archives.
Race is such a two-faced Janus. On the one hand, it makes people nervous. On the other hand, it is the gateway to great discovery, because it is the key to how we live out our principles or don't live out our principles all through American history.
Enslaved and brought to America in chains, the beginnings of the African American experience is one of horror, worlds apart from a more perfect union. It took generations of perseverance and acts of individual and collective courage to change the course of the nation. While slavery and its weight on the American conscience tore the nation apart, Harriet Tubman ushered liberation through the Underground Railroad. Frederick Douglass escaped slavery to help lead the abolitionist movement. And Abraham Lincoln declared all persons held as slaves shall be then, henceforward, and forever free, setting the stage for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to our Constitution. Following the Civil War and during Reconstruction, African Americans faced more inequities as Jim Crow laws raised new barriers to participation in civic life. Facing segregation and persecution for such basic activities as voting, getting a drink of water, or riding a bus, students in Birmingham walked through fire hoses and attack dogs to desegregate schools. Dr. Martin Luther King marched the cause of civil rights into congressional legislation. And a young John Lewis got into good trouble, enduring multiple beatings and arrests in the fight for racial equality. The discourse about race in America continues to be difficult, complicated, and contentious. But the conversation is necessary if we are to truly be we the people.
The place where we are residually at war with ourselves, still. You scratch the surface, and underneath it is either a racial fear or a hostility that only requires a spark.
Understanding the history of rights and justice for African Americans is the foundation of this dialogue.
To me, the key thing is building up your incentive and your comfort to be uncomfortable, to push across boundaries. And that once you do that, you get hooked on the sense of discovery, because you'll constantly be finding things that you didn't know.
At the National Archives, African American voices are brought to life in family records, slave sales, Freedmen's Bureau documents, census books, patents, maps, military draft and pension files, court cases, films, photographs, congressional legislation, constitutional amendments, and more. Millions of records and digitized holdings are available online and free to the public at the National Archives. Yet so much of the African American experience remains undiscovered, under-researched, and left untold. The National Archives Foundation seeks your help to bring light to these new stories demonstrating the challenges and victories of the African American experience that provide a more complete story of our nation's past.
It is very, very important for all of us as citizens, for all of us as one people, to take ownership of our system of justice. This is our democracy. It belongs to all of us. We must talk about it. We must debate it. We have to continue to fight every single day. If we do not, we will go backward. We don't want to go backward. We want to go forward and complete our effort to create a more perfect union.